The Redcast Podcast.
So it is the Redcast Podcast after Liverpool have just scraped a win against West Brom with Alisson's won the goal. I'm joined today by Ste. How are we doing?
Half smiling. It's boss, isn't it? It's just boss. Like we owed that fat pie-eating blue nose a good hiding after what he'd done to us a few months back, and I'd took a good hiding, but what we did to them was even better.
Is that the first time you've ever seen a goalie score? I think it is. I remember Paul Robinson for Leeds, but that's about it for
me. It's the first one for us. I remember, I think Tim Howard scored for Everton at Goodison on a windy day, and I think one of the Stoke keepers probably done it. It happens occasionally, but very rarely from a header from a corner. Normally it's like a clearance or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when he was running up, I was like, "What are you doing?" Because I don't see the point in it, especially when it was 1-1. Obviously, we know we need to win because we need Champions League football. But in games where it's 1-1, you think of the worst, don't you? Like they're going to get this ball and they're going to roof it up and they're going to win the game.
Yeah, to be fair, normally I would think that, but at that moment, a draw was nothing to us. We had to go for the win. A draw, we might as well have lost than through that game for me. Yeah. So when I seen him go up, I was made up. Obviously, I had no clue what he was going to pull out. That absolute madness. Like, I just thought he was going up just to cause a bit of trouble.
Yeah, because that's what you usually go for, isn't it? Just to cause a bit of havoc.
Get in the way.
Yeah. But yeah, cast your mind back to the game just before that, the United one. Games are coming thick and fast. We haven't what a result that was. Like, to go to their backyard after they fielded a weaker side to try and stop us getting top four and allowing Leicester to win, for us to then go and destroy them in the way we did. Yeah, it was 4-2. But then that Salah goal for me was iconic, similar to the Salah goal last year against United was iconic. But to go there and destroy them, United are second in the league and in the Europa League final. Liverpool having a worst season.
Yeah, you know what? It was a comfortable win at Old Trafford, and you don't hear that very often. As bad as it's been over the past few years, you still go to Old Trafford with a sort of sense of, I wouldn't go so far as fear, but you never go expecting to win. And that was a comfortable win. And seeing Bobby getting a couple of goals was just beautiful.
I mean, the stats as well lately have been decent. We've had decent stats in terms of me and you've seen so often this season where we've had, say, like 19 shots on target and only 19 shots and only like 1 or 2 on target. Against United, it was completely different, and against West Brom as well. So, like the United game, we had 17 shots, 8 on target. I mean, it's still not perfect, but it's a better return than what we've had for the rest of the season. So,
yeah, as you say, definitely. I couldn't say it. Probably luck, because even when we've gone through them bad spells, as you say, we've had 20 odd shots on goal. I think, was it Newcastle? It was Newcastle that done us at the end, and I think by the 60th minute we'd had 25 shots on goal. And we're creating chances, and we've always created chances. We just missed out on that little bit of luck, or the lucky bounce, or, I mean, some of the finishing's been absolutely awful as well. Let's have it right. We've had some terrible, like, even, what was that game where it must have been West Brom, when Alisson put one wide, Mane put one wide. It was, I don't know, I can't put it down to anything. It must be confidence. It must be.
What did you think about that United lineup then, dropping Mane? I mean, it worked because Jota, Firmino and Salah all scored. Bobby probably played his best game in 6-7 months for us. Do you think Bobby plays better when he knows there's more competition? I mean, I know that usually always makes players play better, but I feel as though the game against West Brom, Bobby wasn't as sharp as he was against United. He was still back to what we know Bobby to be good at, but in the West Brom game, he wasn't as sharp, and that was when Joss was being ruled out for the season, which is frustrating in some aspects because it's like you should be performing no matter what, in my opinion.
You should, and it's easy to say that, but this guy has been performing at the highest level for 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been at the pinnacle of the game for 4 years, and he's only human. You've got to expect a little drop off. And to be fair, there's been a drop off from quite a few of them, but because of how good Bobby and how pivotal Bobby's been, it's just been so more apparent.
How many games? 1, 2. Does it feel mad that Liverpool haven't been beat since the beginning of March? Since the Fulham game?
It feels insane. Like, I think we sort of got in that mindset after a couple of months of being terrible. It's kind of stuck there, and we haven't lost for 10 games or something, is it?
8. But then hopefully...
If you take out the Champions League games, yeah. Leicester and Chelsea are, as we're speaking now, Leicester and Chelsea are 10 minutes in, aren't they? So that's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
I'd rather just see their results, to be honest with you. I think I'd rather the Leicester win and Chelsea get nothing. But then I don't want... I think I'd rather Chelsea win the Champions League than City, because they're too far away to really care, aren't they? So
it's not us, so I don't really care out of them two who wins it. But the interesting thing, I was speaking to my cousin earlier on, we were talking about, all the different permutations of who can finish where and all that sort of stuff. If we finish level on goal difference with either Chelsea or Leicester, we've got a better head-to-head record against both of them.
Oh, right, okay. I didn't know that.
I think we beat Leicester 2-0 and lost 2-1. I think we beat Chelsea 3-1 and lost 3-0, or something like that. But against both teams, we've got a better head-to-head. So if it ever falls level on goal difference and everything, we will.
The fate is in our hands, ultimately, isn't it? Like, as long as we win these next 2 games, which I think we will, especially the Palace game, I think that's guaranteed 3 points with the fans being back in. For me,
you would think so, yeah.
Especially if it goes down to last day of the season. The first year Klopp was here, top 4 went down to last day of the season. We managed to do it, so it seems just that edge back again. Like in that West Brom game, we were speaking about the United game about how good our shot conversion rate was in the West Brom game. We actually had 26 shots and only 6 of them was on target. But that was for me, the West Brom game was one of the most frustrating games to watch, because it felt like it was going to be a repeat of your Newcastle games and your Leeds United games. I mean, their goal that got ruled out, I don't know.
That's one of them down to interpretation, isn't it? Because he stood in front of the goalie. For me, like, whether he makes a move for the ball or not, if you're stood in the goalie's eye line, you're interfering with play. I don't care what you say. That's one of our strikers. That'd be a bit.
I mean, if that was allowed, more people would do it. But I can understand the frustrations if that went against us. Because you think about the You think about, I can't think what. Well, it didn't go against us, did it? In the Leicester game when they scored in that free kick, we was actually blocking his line of sight in that game. It should have went in our favour and didn't. So it's just that age-old thing of the technology's there, but the people using it in it, that's ruining it.
That's it. There's no consistency.
There isn't. There's absolutely none. Some of the decisions. I mean, there's been decisions in the league this year that have nothing to do with Liverpool in other games where I've sat and thought, "Oh my God, I'm so happy that's not happened." Like the thing of the Patrick Bamford one a few weeks ago. It's just ridiculous.
That was awful. I felt for him. That's probably one of the worst ones, because that needs looking at. I don't know how they're gonna get around that, because when it comes to offside, they're always going to have that line. It doesn't matter what you use as a point of reference; they're always going to have that line. But it just looked ridiculous, didn't it?
The whole season's been ridiculous. I think they need a review of it definitely this summer. But that West Brom game, it was good to see it go in our favour for once, to be honest with you, because I do think if they would have scored that, we wouldn't have won. because Big Sam 2-1 lead would have defended it, wouldn't he, with his life?
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, I thought the referee in that game was terrible. Like,
yeah,
I can't even pick an incident, but there was 5 or 6, and I've gone, like, give them everything. Like, I seen someone put on Twitter, I think it was, saying the referees watching this game through gravy tinted glasses for Big Sam. That'd be crying, like, but I was like, it's so true. You get them everything.
It was like that in the United game as well, though, weren't it? Like, the referee and the VAR assistants were both from Manchester, in the Greater Manchester area, refereeing the United Liverpool game. So, and in that game, there was a few chances where if it was United, they probably would have got them. There was a penalty call, and there was another one as well, which, in my opinion, if Liverpool had done them to United, 100% would have been awarded. And the same in the West Brom game, and it's just every year. When's it going to stop? Because we're just sassy at every year saying how poor the referees are, and there's the only decent referee really in the leagues, Michael Oliver. But then even still, he makes some horrendously calls, and he's made some horrendous calls this year. So I don't think anymore is the referee on the pitch. I think the VAR assistant sort of runs the show, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm happy for the referee to make a mistake on the pitch. I've said this before. I'm happy for the referee to make a mistake. He sees it at normal time from one angle, and he makes that decision. Yeah, he might get the odd one wrong, whatever. And then you can talk about it in the pub and complain about it, whatever. But when it's VAR and they're taking 7, 8, 9, 10 looks at it from different angles at different speeds, and they're still getting it wrong, it just can't be.
It's ridiculous. I just don't understand it. Like, how many more angles do they need before they get right?
Swerve it all. Just swerve it all and let the referees make the mistakes.
That's what I mean, because I was watching this Sunday, the Campfield won the National Sunday League Cup, and they're from Liverpool. Yeah. And it was live streamed, and I was watching it. And do you know how good it was to watch a game of football where, like, referees can make decisions, and there's no, is that the right decision? VAR is going to come up, and it's just, I'm slowly falling out of love with football in a sense of you can't celebrate a goal anymore. Like, some players are celebrating and it's getting taken away from us, and sometimes, like, what's the point of celebrating? Because they need to wait a minute, 2 minutes before the screen says, yeah, that is a goal. Yeah. Like,
look what happened to Chelsea in the cup final.
Yeah,
Chelsea thought they scored the goal, and it was a close one, and I think it was the right decision. But look how mad them fans went. Can you imagine that being you? Imagine going off that much, and then someone to go, actually, just wait there a minute and just ruin your day.
But you know, when Divock Origi scored that in the Champions League final, it went off. But then one of my mates went, "Are you sure that's not going to is VAR going to look at that?" Or even though it was such an obvious goal, you just don't know with anything. Like, it feels as though you've got to score with about 50 players in front of you for them to go, yeah.
It puts that doubt in your mind, doesn't it?
Yeah,
puts that doubt.
It's ridiculous. It's just ruining football. I mean, Liverpool have done well to ruin our mood pretty much the whole year, but this isn't helping as well. And in that game on the weekend, I thought it was going to be enough one. I thought, yeah, this is going to ruin my mood. Champions League was throwing it away, especially when we went 1-0 down. It was just like, for fuck's sake, is this happening again?
And then up pops the most beautiful human being on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, it's what the thing for me is as well, that goal was so good, and it never happens, which is going to be spoken about for years to come. But take nothing away from Mo Salah as well, his finish was tidy. It was really,
his finish was so good. He's brilliant at that.
When he doesn't think.
He's done it a few times this season, hasn't he? Yeah, he did it against Leeds, he did it against Everton. Just when it just comes to him, and he doesn't need to take the touch, and he just smashes it and it flies. Brilliant.
On Salah, then, there's been rumours, like massive rumours the past few weeks about Jadon Sancho coming in for the cut price of 70 mil, 80 mil, something like that. Would you keep Salah then and probably maybe let Mane go? Because it's impossible to replace Salah's numbers, isn't it?
Yeah. And us, as much as anyone, have been guilty in the past of underappreciating Mo Salah, haven't we? Because we have this conversation regularly about, we're getting new players in, we're getting linked with Haaland, Mbappe, Sancho, whoever it might be. And your automatic thought is, well, one of them three have got to go.
Yeah. I mean, bar Alisson and that, because bar Alisson and in the United game, Salah was man of the match for me. Maybe Bobby. Bar Alisson probably wasn't man of the match in the West Brom game. Trent was man of the match in my opinion, but Trent, there was only really Salah. You could maybe give it to him. I mean, Salah got it on quite a few writers' opinions that Salah got man of the match.
Yeah.
But he's just this season he's been the only one who has performed and consistently. Would you say?
He's been a shining light in a shower. Are we on the radio or not?
No.
Yeah, he's been a shining light in a shower of shite. That's a poem. That's the. I'm putting that on my bio. Yeah, he hasn't let us down like a lot of them have. His numbers just keep racking up. It's his fourth season now.
Yeah.
And he's on for Golden Boot for the third. Was it the fourth time? Is it every season?
Yeah, every season.
How can you think about selling a player like that?
How could you replace a player like that?
You can't. I mean, you can try and you can bring in Mbappe, or you can bring in Haaland, or you can bring in any of these big names. There's no guarantees, and it just seems with Salah, it doesn't matter how we're playing, his numbers are there.
So consistent, 20 goals, 4 seasons on the run, or 20 plus goals. I can't.
You're thinking from a business point of view, though. If it's up to the owners, they're looking at him now as he's probably as valuable as he is ever going to be. He's only, what is he, 28 now? 28?
Yeah.
So he's sort of he's at the top of that peak, isn't he?
But who can afford him? Because I've heard people talking Harry Kane, 200 million. Which is probably a fair price because he's English. Tottenham can charge what they want. He can score a goal. Most Salah, you've got to be talking 160, 200 million for him as well.
Realistically, yeah.
Like
absolutely. Look at his numbers.
When PSG bought Neymar off Barcelona for 200 plus million, he wasn't producing numbers like this in the Spanish league. Never mind the Premier League. And so he's produced these numbers consistently for 4 years. And for me, the past 2 games, like that United celebration, and then when you look at the Alisson celebration, you can just see the passion in Mo. More so than, I'm not saying the rest of the team aren't passionate, but that Alisson celebration, you're seeing like Trent, Thiago, you're seeing the passion of how much the Champions League means to them playing in it. But for me, with Salah, I can't see him going because the amount of passion he's putting into being like, yeah, we need this Champions League. It's just like, why would he be that bothered? You're seeing, we're going to touch on it in a minute, about Gini walking off after the Alisson goal, not really being that passionate. He knows he's going. He doesn't care if we get top 4 really, because he's probably going to go play in the Champions League side next year. With Salah,
and I mean, to be fair to Gini, a lot of people did miss the fact that he did join in the celebrations, but it wasn't that instant. Like, it wasn't that instant. Get the fuck it, like that relief and that release. It was just a.
But you'd expect that, wouldn't you? Like, we've just won a game in the dying embers. Your keeper has just scored, which never happens, and it means.
And what a header!
Yeah, what a header! And like for me with Gini, it was like, look at Mo Salah. People are talking every year about him leaving us, and the passion that he had after this Alisson goal, after the United goal, for me was like he wants to play in the Champions League for this football club. Gini, seeing them pictures of him walking away and then sort of half-assed walking over to say like, well in, mate, it pissed me off. It proper done me. I think so. I was like, come on, Gini. I've got so much respect for Gini. I believe he wouldn't have won the Champions League if it wasn't for Gini. I don't think we would have been as good as we have been over the past few years without Gini. I think he's a pressing monster and he fits into Jurgen's system fantastically. But I do think in the last few weeks, he just doesn't look arsed. And don't get me started on him getting the captain's armband. I think that's a joke. Like Bobby or Trent or Salah should have it over him.
Yeah, I think that's part of what they've already set up, though, isn't it? Yeah. With them, then most whatever players they've picked. So he's not going to go against that halfway through the season, regardless of whatever player situation is. Unless Gini's actually come out and gone, I hate Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp's a knobhead or whatever. I think other than that, he's just going to stick with the plan that's already put in place. I don't think he's captain material.
No.
I don't think, like, don't get me wrong, go on, mate, sorry.
I think he wants to stay, but Liverpool aren't prepared to pay him the fat payday for his one last big payday he's going to get.
Yeah.
He's asking for 200 grand a week. If it was my money, I'd give him it, but not for, he wants it for like 3 years with Liverpool and you want to give it to him for 2, or there's some stumbling block there. But then I don't think many clubs can afford 200 grand a week for any players. You look at your Barca's and your Real Madrid, they're nearly £1 billion in debt. Inter Milan's owners on the verge of selling them, and he's even asked his players to take a pay cut 2 weeks after they've won the Serie A. So there's not many people who could probably afford to give a 29, 30-year-old midfielder who I don't think fits into any team the way he fits into Liverpool. Yeah, he's good for the Netherlands, but Gini Wijnaldum wasn't this pressing monster at Newcastle.
No. You've got to think he's off to China or the Middle East or something like that.
China got a salary cap now, though.
Right.
So so certain players you can't earn so much anymore. So you'll probably see the likes of Oscar and that come back into the more mainstream football world when his contract runs out. But it's just a shame because I don't want to see Gini go like this. Like, if he would have ran over it, like with that gut instinct celebration on the weekend and wore the armband with pride and stuff, I think it would have helped him a bit more. Like, you seen Bobby's post. Gini didn't do nothing like, I think he put like proud to wear the armband for this club, but Bobby's post about wearing that captain's armband, I got goosebumps reading because you know that it meant everything to him. And for me, and I know now like the armband just gets passed down in terms of who the players vote for, but for me, being captain of this football club means more.
Absolutely. He's not. Look, I think Gini Wijnaldum has been boss. He's been boss for years.
Yeah.
But he's not captain material. He's not like a vocal leader. He's not an organizer. He doesn't grab the game by the scruff of the neck. And like, as a captain, they're the kind of things that you want. Yeah. He doesn't. You say he doesn't come out on. I mean, it sounds like all new age and that, but he doesn't come out on social media and give it the beans about the club and
just talks on Spotify.
Yeah. It's like he doesn't epitomise what the club is. As boss as he is as a footballer, that doesn't make him captain material.
It's sad as well because I've only met him once, years and years ago when he first signed, and he was boss. Like, I spent like 45 minutes because he was getting like a telly off me and stuff when I worked in retail, and he was buying a telly, and he was so down to earth and so genuine. You can see he's just a genuine nice fella, but I just think maybe he's frustrated because he wants to stay in the club on paying him what he feels he's worth, and rightfully so. He's won 4 major domestic honours at Liverpool. He probably is worth what he's saying he is, but just not for the length of time that he's asking for. But he probably sees other players playing here past 30 and getting bigger. Like, there's talk of a Van Dijk contract, and he's a similar age. But Gini's got to realise the midfield players are probably the most dispensable within that team. Like, your back four and your front three don't really change. Usually, it's usually the midfield. But speaking about the back four, it looks as though Canate is coming in with Fabrizio Romano saying that that's pretty much done and he's quite trusted.
Yeah.
Who just starts a centre back next season? Do you put Gomez with Van Dijk and have Canate as your backup with what's probably going to be Phillips or Matip or Kabak? Play them in the FA Cup games, or do you throw Canate in and make him have a partnership?
I think Gomez would be backup because Canate is going to come in for big money, isn't he?
Yeah, 40 odd million.
That's big. That's big enough money. Van Dijk obviously is Van Dijk. He's irreplaceable. I think Gomez now, after that injury, he's going to have to work his way back into the team. I think Matip probably won't get another season out of us. I don't think now with that Canate coming in, I don't think they'll keep Kabak. Not with you've got Reece Williams. No, I don't think they'll keep him. I'll be happy if they do. No. Honestly, no. He's done all right. But I just can't see if they're spending this money on this defender. I don't think they're going to bring Kabak in as well.
Let me hit you with one then. Gomez's natural position is a right back. he came through as the youth academies at Charlton as a right back, and he was when he first broke into the Liverpool team, he was a right back. What about perhaps maybe selling Nico or letting Nico go out on a loan spell? Southampton are quite keen on him. Maybe loan him to Southampton for the season, give him a year in the Prem, see if he's actually going to make it at Liverpool, and if not, you sell him at the end of it. So maybe give them an option to buy, and then we have the final decision at the end of it. You keep Gomez as your cover for Trent. You buy Kabak as well, and then you go into the season with Van Dijk, Canate, Kabak, Phillips, and then Fabinho, if need be, and Williams.
You got Williams and Davis there.
Yeah, and I think Davis will probably go to Celtic in the summer. I think he might be the first player to come to Liverpool and not get a game. Because even Stephen Crawford got a game that when he came, but
yeah, he did. Yeah,
I don't know if that fills me with a bit more confidence if you're going into a say for example, you've got a big Champions League game midweek and you need to play like a lesser side in the Premier League, like what we've seen Pep and City do this year.
Yeah,
it'd fill you with more confidence knowing that Trent could have a rest and you could play Gomez right back with a centre back pairing of say Kabak and Phillips because they played together this year, and then you've got Tsimikas on the left, so you can change your whole back four and give them a rest for when you got bigger games coming up, like what you see with City.
I wouldn't be against having Gomez at right back. I think he's sort of made that transition now to centre half the same way Carragher did. Carragher started as a full back and gradually worked his way into centre back. I think Gomez is an emergency with filling at right back. I couldn't imagine him.
What's going to do then, saying to Gomez, you've won as Everton, mate. Not our fault that you got injured. It's Raheem Sterling in England's, but you're getting dropped next
allegedly.
Yeah, because we've just brought Canate in, who we don't know much about because he struggled to actually get into the Leipzig team this year since his hip injury.
Yeah, I think it's all going to easily said. It's all going to depend on pre-season, isn't it? Whoever makes the biggest impact pre-season's got to start alongside Van Dijk. He might come back and Gomez might be a couple of yards off the pace off his injury.
Yeah.
Canate might come in and be dog shit. No one knows until they give him a couple of games. And obviously Van Dijk's the nailed on, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's why I think it's risk-free getting Kabak, because for 18 million, probably get him even cheaper because they've went down now. And then Kabak's probably a £30 million defender in today's market. 35 million. So why not get him? Just in case Canate does take a few months to gel in, because Kabak's had that settling in period, and we've seen it so many times with the likes of Robertson, even Fabinho didn't get a game when he first came because Klopp likes to gel them in. So Canate will need to be gelled in and brought up to speed. And don't get me wrong, I think he's going to be a phenomenal centre-back partnership for Van Dijk. The two absolute units, are made up that we're getting him. But I just love Joe Gomez. I think he's a Rolls-Royce defender, and it'll be sad to see him not play, but because he is so young. But then you think he's had 2, maybe 3 bad injuries for his age already. So
he wasn't perfect. If you cast your mind back properly, Joe Gomez was not perfect. Yeah. He had a mistake in him. He did have a mistake in him, and I seen it. Great, he's a good defender, good footy player, quick, but he had a mistake in him. And there was a few times what I seen with Joe Gomez was we give him the benefit of the doubt. Where if that was at the time, if it was Dejan Lovren making that mistake, we'd have absolutely hammered him. So I still think he's got a bit to learn.
The benefit of the doubt because we were winning as well. If Gomez maybe played this season, do you reckon the spotlight would have been on him more?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Same with all.
Is that the only place where you feel we should strengthen? Because I've seen so many people talking we need a midfielder if Gini goes, we need a midfielder if Gini goes. Do we? Do we really need a midfielder if Gini goes? Because Curtis Jones, in my opinion, it could be as good as Gini at pressing, and he's a lot more skillful and a lot more technical on the ball than Gini, so he could be more of a natural replacement, couldn't he?
Absolutely, yeah, but I don't think Gini's going to be the only one to go from that midfield, so we do need to bring in reinforcements, even if it's for the bench, but we need some good quality. Because I think probably, maybe if we're lucky, we'll get another season out of Milner, but as fit as he is, his legs aren't going to last
forever. Yeah.
Chamberlain's probably going to go, and Wijnaldum's looking like he's gone. That's 3.
you reckon Kaiser
That's
stays?
3 going out of the squad. Who knows? I think he needs to go. To be honest, I think we need to cut our losses with him.
Yeah, only chance
Exactly.
you give me. He wasn't cheap,
And
50-odd million £50 million.
No, I know. Bless him, like, because every time he plays, he's quality. You can see there's a player there, but he's just made out of biscuits. And we can't afford to have. It's too much for him. We can't afford to have a £50 million cripple in the squad. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. Just cut our losses, get what we can for him. I was talking to someone on Twitter a couple of weeks back, and they were like listed all of Keita's injuries. He actually got injured while he was out ill. So he was out ill, and then 3 days later he got a groin strain, and then about a week later he got ill again. It was like he fell out of the sick bed and injured himself.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? But I would sell him myself. I think you'd get decent money for him, for someone from Germany, because they know how good he can be in Germany.
Yeah.
Maybe even someone like Leipzig, they'll be under a rebuild, new manager and stuff. Maybe.
What about Shaq?
I mean, I do think Shaq will go because I think he wants to play. But I think with Shaq, I think he thinks he's better sometimes than he is. I've heard that a few times with the people who've played with him. But I do think there'll be a big rebuild. I think you're going to see the likes of players who you wouldn't expect, in a sense of you've probably forgotten on the books, like Woodburn and Gruich and Harry Wilson. I think all of them will generate cash. That's why I do think the likes of Jadon Sancho is doable. But I do think the only positions that need improving on the pitch would be the centre-back and someone in the front three. Because I think you go into next season with Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago as your starting midfield, because that's our best midfield by a country mile, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think we could probably do with a better right-back in backup.
That's what I mean. That's what makes me think it makes more sense to buy Kabak and let Gomez cover the right back position. And then if you did need it also saves you buying another centre back because Gomez can cover centre back or right back. And I do think Gomez is a better option as cover in right back than potentially Nico can be, because there's not many players. People are probably going to look at the Liverpool team and think, look at Tsimikas. He's playing Champions League football, playing week in, week out, so Olympiacos. He comes to Liverpool and doesn't get a game because you physically can't dislodge Andy Robertson. So imagine someone coming in. Trent Alexander-Arnold's 5 years younger than Robbo, I think. So someone's coming into Liverpool knowing they're not getting a game for the next 10 years. Easy. He's only 20.
And there's not a better right back. There's not a better right back in world football. No. You know, when he's on his game than Trent. So
I think that's
you can't even go out and get someone. Yeah, you can't even go out and get someone like can't even think of any decent right backs.
More
like
where's right backs?
Yeah, so you there's no one out there who you would get who would maybe like push Trent for his place and not just be a backup. There's no one.
If you ask Gareth Southgate, he'll tell you Kieran Trippier.
There's about 4 better right backs than Trent in the England squad, isn't there?
What's your thoughts on that then? Because there's been reports this week that Trent still isn't going to get called up. Now, since Trent got dropped from England a few weeks ago, Trent has been world class again. He's probably been our best player, bar Salah, in recent weeks. What does this? I mean, I'm made up because I fucking hate England, but what you can see from Trent's point of view, he's probably going to be gutted, missing out on a major competition for his national side. What does this
possibly be gutted, but I don't know. I think he just needs. He needs to just go and like suck off Gareth Southgate or something.
He's better than Wan-Bissaka. He's better than Reece James. He's better than Kieran Trippier. He is the best right back in world football. It's like Gallagher said the other week on Sky Sports. It's having De Bruyne at right back, having that array of passing at right back. Now, let's not forget, England have got Kane up front, who is massive, boss in the air.
Feeds off that, doesn't he?
Yeah, Trent's like the perfect player for someone like Harry Kane, really, isn't he?
Yeah, so I just totally. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get Gareth Southgate, but from a Liverpool fan point of view, I don't want any of our lads anywhere near that squad. None of them, not one.
I don't think we'll have many going to Euros. Van Dijk's ruled himself out, which I made up about, so he can keep his rehab up in in England. Obviously, the
Yeah.
South American lads won't go because it's the Euros.
Yeah.
So I don't think maybe Thiago. And that's about
Maybe
it.
Gini,
really.
but he looks like he's going anyway,
Yeah.
doesn't he? Yeah.
Kabak will go to Turkey if he's still our player, and Robertson will go with England.
Sorry,
I
what?
mean, Robertson will go with Scotland. Sorry, but he'll be against England in the Euros.
What about Shaq? Switzerland? He's Swiss, isn't he?
He's their best player.
Did they qualify though?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But I'm firmly in the Scotland camp for the Euros this year. I was Holland, but then obviously the big man ruled himself out. So
he's okay.
So I'm not asked about them now. But I want Scotland to. I don't think they'll win it because they've got good players, but
you just want them to beat England, don't you?
Yeah, well, they've got Tierney and Robertson both at left back, and they try and play both of them, so they play one like right back and stuff. Which is just as we're recording this, Man City are getting beat 3-2 by Brighton on the day that the fans are first back in.
Boss. Means nothing. Ultimately, it means nothing, but it's still fun.
Part of me thought today was the day they lifted the league, and it's not. United have drew as well, so that should give Leicester more incentive to want to win. I mean, it's still 0-0, but should give Leicester more incentive because they can get second today if they win. Well,
are they that close, are they?
There was a point behind United, and United have drew. So if Leicester win Chelsea today, they go second by a point going to last day of the season. And I'm pretty sure the difference between second and third is a good few quid in terms of your final payments at the end of the year. For a club like Leicester, anyway, to get second, there's a lot more money maybe for going into the summer. But yeah, before
you know what? That's a boss. Talking about Leicester, that's a boss season for Leicester, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I mean,
they finished top 4 and FA Cup.
Rodgers has done well there. I think he's learned from his mistakes he made at Liverpool. I think when he went away to Celtic, not only did he win everything because it wasn't hard, because Stevie G weren't there taking over, but I do think that he grew up and matured as a manager, because it feels like he has learned from his mistakes. I mean, they still could bottle it. Let's not forget, Leicester could still finish 5th this season, which is mad. Like, they could finish 2nd or 5th. I think that, for me, shows that this season is just being the worst Premier League season on record.
Oh, definitely. Is there any, I haven't checked the points tally, but is there any, I know this sounds mad, is there any, like, possibility of us getting second, or are we just not?
We can get
too many points behind it. Yeah, I know we can get third. We can't catch United, no.
No, we can't catch United, but we could finish 2 points off United. If United lose their last game, we'd get 69, and they're on 71 currently.
Wow. I mean, considering this season...
Because United drew Leicester on 67 now, so if they win, they'd be on 69. So they'd be 2 points off second on the last game of the season, where I'm not too sure United play. So I don't know if it's doable for them to get second, but United have slipped.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Sunday.
I can't see fans. I mean, my brother's got a ticket, which I made up for him. I was unfortunate not to get one, but I know so many people go on the ground this weekend. I made up for them. Like, it's been so long.
I'm going out. I'm out all day. I'm getting on it. I've been ringing around.
Even
ringing around, trying to book a table. Can't get nowhere.
So, well, even tomorrow for you, Everton's home game with the fans will be decent, just to see people buy yours again.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you probably hate it, but just to see fans go in the game again, it's going to be something you haven't witnessed for since December, right? 10,000.
No. Yeah, it does. To be honest, it's 6,500. They're letting in. We got to let it through the door. Because obviously I live like facing the stadium, so they close our road, so they're back to like, I've got to move my car and that when the match is on. Doesn't bother me. Like, I love the buzz of match days, whether it's us or whatever. Like, obviously I want them to lose most of the time, but I just love the buzz of football, and I love the buzz of fans. And even when Everton are playing, I don't give a shit if Everton are playing Swansea or whatever. I'll just go out for a walk or whatever. It's just to soak up the atmosphere and smell the vinegar on the chips. And
I mean, of course I'm not going on Sunday. But the fact that Anfield for me, they've done it boss. Like obviously there's 10,000 fans, so it'll probably be 2,500 in each stand. So and a lot of the people who've got tickets are locals, which we know are the ones who sing more. I'm not against the people who come and travel, because I do think that they're just as much fans as the locals. They're travelling hours to come and see us.
It makes no sense to have people travelling while
exactly.
So, still in place.
10,000 Scousers in a stadium. It's going to be rowdy, innit? It's going to be proper rowdy. Like, I mean, it's a shame it's Palace. I'd rather the last game of the season be something like City or something like that. But I'm proper excited for it. It's sad because it's the end of the season, but to be honest with you, I can't wait to see the back of the season.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that. This season just needs to do one, and it's an absolute miracle that we're even within a shout for the top 4. So it's insane.
We were missing 10 players from our starting 11 in that West Brom game. That's a full start.
5 of them were centre backs.
Yeah, like we brought Kabak in and he's injured. Like it's just we're cursed. Whether it is the physio, who knows? But we're cursed. But yeah, before we go, hit me with some score predictions for the game tomorrow. Then.
Right, tomorrow we've got Burnley away in it.
What tougher than we think? I think
it is. Burnley away. It's not a gimme by any stretch, is it?
No, they
even for them it's a Nottingham game, but for West Brom the other day it was a Nottingham game and they still give us a scare. Like I reckon 2-0. I reckon we'll get a 2-0. I reckon we'll score early, struggle to put it to bed, and then we'll get like a second one later on.
I agree with you. Usually I go for mad predictions, but I feel as though the end of this season is going to have like 4 iconic moments. Before they had Salah against United, Alisson against West Brom. I feel like there's going to be something tomorrow and something against Palace. But then part of me tells me that the Palace game's just going to be a massacre. Because we don't forget we're going to that game needing a massacre to finish with Leicester on goal difference. So I do think it'll be a massacre, and they need to give the fans something to shout about. So though there's not 60,000 in there, they still need to give them 10,000 something to shout about, considering the misery they've put us through the past 18 months.
I'm going to say, right, we're going to get a Trent Alexander-Arnold free kick in about the 5th minute. That's going to be the first goal, and then Salah's going to wrap it up in the 89th minute, and we're all just going to go nuts.
Do you know what?
That'll be the iconic moment.
Yeah, that's quite realistic as well, because Burnley Trent scoring a free kick's probably your best chance at breaking Burnley down, isn't it? Across the 90 minutes, really. Like something from a set piece. Maybe Alisson comes up in the 90th minute.
So I think I don't know what to do. Alisson scored. I still can't speak. I can't speak from Sunday. Like screaming at them.
It's the maddest thing I've ever witnessed, ever. But that man for me is a Liverpool legend. He got us to the Champions League knockout stages with that save against Napoli. The amount of saves he's kept in the Champions League and Premier League since he's been here, that's kept us in games, won us games. The Champions League final, Alisson man of the match for me against Tottenham. He is just an absolute machine, and his post-match interview as well was one of the best post-match interviews I've ever seen.
It was so emotional, wasn't it? And he spoke really well. What a man! What are you saying for the game anyway, Burnley?
I'm going to say 2-0. Yeah, I think I'd like it to be Curtis Jones and Salah, but I do think it'll probably be someone we wouldn't expect, and Salah. I do think Salah will score because he needs that golden boot, and what he's like when he gets what he wants to score. Yeah, nice one as always for coming on. Hopefully we do win. We'll be talking after that before the Crystal Palace game, and we're going to look. We'll in the next pod before the Crystal Palace game, before the season finishes, we'll have a little look back at our start of the year predictions and see how well.
Oh yeah. I don't think I was a million miles away.
We both said West Ham would be relegated. I think.
I think that was more of a hope than anything, man.
Yeah, after them wanting to null avoid it. But I mean, I said Everton would be a dark horse, and they've been typical Everton towards the end of the season. So I think we're way off with most of it. I said Liverpool to win the league. You said Chelsea. So we're with Liverpool and Chelsea both in the same situation going still last game of the season, really, aren't we? So,
yeah.
We both
let's just leave that then. We won't look at that.
See how bad we was. But yeah, nice as always coming on. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to leave a like rating, subscribe, and all that jazz. We're nearly at 300 subscribers, so we possibly can get to that. Nice one to everyone who has been subscribing and all the listeners over in America. I love yous all. But yeah, we've been Redscast. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.